When we hear the name Egypt, the first things that come to mind are massive pyramids, mummies, the treasures of Tutankhamun, and countless mysteries, along with one of the oldest civilizations on Earth. But today, this very country lies empty for miles and miles. About 5,000 years ago, one of the world's earliest civilizations began here. The people of this land were among the first to develop writing, and they built enormous pyramids. Yet today, nearly 97% of Egypt's land is empty. So the question is, why? If you look closely at Egypt on the map, you'll see it's actually a very large country, around 1 million square kilometers in area. Its population is about 110 million. But the strange thing is, nearly 95% of the population lives in just 3% of the land. Because of this, cities are extremely crowded, while on the other side there are endless empty lands where you won't find a single person for miles. Even places that were once the heart of ancient Egyptian civilization, filled with people from across the world, are now completely deserted. So what is the real reason behind this? Is there some hidden curse of the pharaohs? For my first international trip, I chose Egypt. It was a slow trip. I spent 15 days exploring the country from one end to the other, covering major historical and cultural locations. I observed the culture, history, roads, politics, and geography very closely, and spoke with local people. And honestly, many of my ideas about Egypt completely changed during those 15 days. And by the end of this video, yours might change too. So let's begin. Before understanding Egypt's history and culture, we need to understand its geography and climate. Egypt is one of the largest Arab countries in North Africa. To the west lies the vast Sahara Desert, known as the Western Desert. To the east is the Eastern Desert, stretching to the Red Sea. To the north is the Mediterranean Sea. And to the south, the deserts of Sudan. But Egypt's climate is very unusual. Where in our region winter temperatures drop to 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, in Egypt winter stays around 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. And in summer, temperatures can reach nearly 50 degrees Celsius. The air is extremely dry, with almost no humidity. In many areas, it doesn't rain for years. But as you move along the Nile River towards the north, you reach Alexandria, a city with a much more pleasant climate. Meanwhile, southern regions like Cairo, Luxor, and Aswan are even more extreme. I personally traveled in this harsh heat for 15 days and got sick by the end. Because of this extreme desert environment, survival is nearly impossible in most areas. There is almost no water source except near the Nile and very little agriculture. That's why about 95% of Egypt's land is not suitable for farming. But here's something interesting. 8,000 to 9,000 years ago, this desert didn't exist. The Sahara was once a vast grassland. People lived there comfortably. But as the climate changed, the region became hotter, and the grasslands turned into desert. People started searching for water and became what we now call the Bedouins, nomadic tribes. They moved from place to place with their animals, setting up camps wherever they found water or grass. Eventually, thousands of years ago, they reached the Nile River. For the first time, they found abundant water, fertile soil, fish, and land for farming. To them, this place felt like heaven. That's why Egypt is called the gift of the Nile. The Nile, nearly 7,000 kilometers long, is the longest river in the world. In ancient times, it flooded every year, leaving behind fertile silt that made agriculture possible. This is how the Egyptian civilization was born along its banks. Cities like Memphis, Thebes, and Alexandria were all built near the Nile. Even today, satellite images show greenery only around the river. Ancient Egyptians called their land Kemet, meaning black land, because of the rich black soil, contrasting with the red desert. Now you might wonder, where did the names Misr and Egypt come from? Misr came from Arabic, meaning a developed settlement. It's even mentioned in religious texts. The Greeks called it Aegyptos, meaning temple of the gods, which later became Egypt. Historically, Egypt was divided into Upper and Lower Egypt. Around 5,100 years ago, King Narmer unified them. For the next 3,000 years, over 30 dynasties ruled, making Egypt one of the most powerful empires in Africa. The pyramids were built during this time. Since people settled near the Nile, all capitals and trade routes were also based around it. Even today, most opportunities are concentrated in these areas, causing people to migrate to cities, making them overcrowded. Now let's talk about modern Egypt. With a population of over 110 million, about 60 to 65% are under 35. But unemployment among youth is very high. Many people take up multiple jobs just to survive. Apps like Uber and InDrive are common sources of income. Due to overpopulation and limited resources, Egypt imports about 40% of its food. Tourism is one of the country's biggest income sources, contributing 10 to 12% of GDP, with millions depending on it. Another major source is the Suez Canal, generating billions of dollars annually. However, challenges remain. Economic slowdown, unemployment, corruption, and decreasing Nile water due to climate change and upstream dams. Even agriculture is affected as the natural flooding has reduced. Despite everything, Egypt continues to adapt, using canals, irrigation, and new methods to survive. So now you understand why most people live only along the Nile. I spent 15 days in Egypt and faced no major issues, despite many stereotypes online. If you want a detailed travel guide about Egypt, costs, planning, and tips, let me know in the comments. This is just the beginning of the Egypt series. Next, we'll explore how Islamic rule began in Egypt and why it's important to multiple religions today. Like and subscribe and stay tuned. I'm your host, and you're watching Historic.